When I hit my 40th birthday, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It felt like life was throwing a surprise at me, but without the confetti or the party. Something told me the universe was splashing cold water in my face. I thought everything was fine, but then, suddenly, my wife and daughter started saying every day, "You're in a bad mood." That's when reality hit me. Wait, what? I thought I was on top of life, but apparently I was becoming a grumpy ogre. Things were falling apart, and I didn't even see it coming. I think the crisis of turning 40 is something everyone needs. It's like an alarm that rings to show you're disconnected from what really matters. You find yourself asking, what have I been doing all this time? In my case, the answer wasn't pretty. I'd been feeding my mind with junk, social media, negative news, comparisons, and all that nonsense that only makes you feel worse. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I was too busy to think. But when I realized it, ouch, it was a wake-up call. The thing is, during the pandemic, I had all this free time, but instead of using it wisely, I dove into a destructive cycle. Drinking, watching TV endlessly, scrolling through social media, and being in a bad mood every day. My wife and daughter finally told me, "We don't like spending time with you when you're like this." Talk about reality hitting hard. I felt like a victim of everything in my life. Work, responsibilities, expectations. But the truth was, I was doing everything wrong mentally. I had been drinking a daily energy drink of negativity without realizing it. And that's when Stoic philosophy gave me a slap of love. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens based on how you perceive it. I wasn't reacting, I was just surviving, like a boat adrift. So, I asked myself, what the hell was I doing with my mind? The answer was clear. I was feeding it the worst stuff. I was watching hours of mindless TV and scrolling through social media. On Instagram, everyone's living their perfect life while I'm sitting on the couch. How did I get here? It's easy to fall into the trap of instant gratification. It's easier to turn on the TV or scroll than to do something meaningful. But all that was leaving me empty and drained. That's when I decided to change things. I said, what if I change how I feed my mind? Instead of filling my head with junk, I committed to feeding it things that added value. The first step was ditching music at the gym, my stress escape, and replacing it with Stoic content. Yes, Stoicism. While lifting weights, I was lifting my mind with Epictetus, Seneca, and Ryan Holiday. Let me tell you, it was almost spiritual. Instead of zoning out to music, I noticed how Stoic philosophy helped me see life differently. It was like starring in an epic movie, with philosophy. No, I didn't turn into a monk overnight. There are still days when I just want to shut off and watch something silly. But now, I'm more aware of what I let into my head. As Seneca said, it's not that we have a short time, but that we waste a lot of it. If you don't pay attention to what you consume, time flies by, and you haven't learned anything useful. Little by little, I began to see results. Instead of being dragged by the current, I started taking control of my mind. When something annoys me, I don't just react. Instead of getting stuck in negative thoughts, I ask, does this depend on me? If not, I don't take it personally. It's like I have a superpower. All thanks to feeding my mind with things that actually matter. In my search for meaning, I discovered that art, culture, and philosophy are the perfect ingredients for a richer, more peaceful life. Of course, I'm not saying you have to read all the time or become a scholar, but every day I make time to challenge my mind with something worthwhile. And when the mind is nourished, life starts to taste better. As Ryan Holiday says, the obstacle is the way. If I hadn't realized the obstacle I created with my attitude, I never would have gotten here. So, even though my 40th crisis was a wake-up call, it was the best thing that could have happened. It made me realize everything depends on how I perceive it. Stoics teach us it's not about avoiding suffering, but learning to handle it with wisdom. Now, more than ever, I'm committed to feeding my mind with what truly matters. And if I ever feel lost or overwhelmed, I know what to do. Change what I let in and start fresh. The lesson here is that this is all mental training, and the training never ends. If you're going through a crisis, don't panic. Use it to start feeding your mind with what will help you grow. Life is short, but you decide how to make the most of it. Thank you so much again for listening. I hope these reflections can be of help to you. If you liked it, give it a like and share. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Daily Stoic Reflections. My name is Will, and these audios are what I'd call my daily reflections on the things that happen in my life and give me something to think about.